Hello everyone and welcome to the Shadow Realm. Today we're going to showcase my Pendulum Magician deck profile post-ban list. By the way, I managed to finish first place with this list in my Remote Duel Locals. A friendly reminder before we start is to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. After Dimension Force, this deck is going to be even more powerful, especially after Beyond Pendulum gets released. Also, the addition of Astrograph Sorcerer really boosted the consistency of the deck, alongside the third copy of Astrograph Joker. Now without further ado, let's dive right into the deck profile. We're going to start things off with a new addition in the deck, the single copy of Astrograph Sorcerer. Although we don't have Electromite yet, this card is searchable through the Time Gazer Magician, and at the same time it gives you another body on the field after you destroy one of your scales. You can also get another scale from the deck with the same name as the one you destroyed. Also, the fact that he's a level 7 comes up really often for some synchro plays. Moving on, we are also playing the single copy of Dragonpit Magician. This card is really important in this format because it allows you to deal with the problematic background your opponent controls. And since you can easily search or set this card to your scale, I highly recommend playing at least one copy. Now moving on to the rest of the Magicians that we play in the deck, we're playing triple copies of Dragon Magician. This card is an amazing low skill that allows you to get any resources that you have in the extra deck back to your hand. Also, the fact that it is a level 6 comes up because you can special summon it with the effect of Harmonizing Magician and go into Synchro 10s. I highly recommend you maxing out on this card. Now finally, we can play triple copies of Astrograph Joker. When this card is normal summoned, it allows you to search for any Pendulum Magician that you need from the deck. You usually want to use this card to bait any interruptions your opponent might have in Permanence or Rust, and then continue with your Pendulum plays. Also, the fact that he's a level 4 comes up for Exist plays, and he's also a scale 8 that might come up in some scenarios. Moving on, we're also playing triple copies of Pendulum Sorcerer. When this card is special summoned, it allows you to destroy up to 2 cards to your side of the field, and then search for any performable card, so you can proc the effects of your magicians when they get destroyed. Speaking of which, we're playing triple copies of Double Iris Magician. This card is amazing because it's a high scale, and at the same time, when it gets destroyed, you can search for any Pendulum Graph, spell or trap from your deck. Also, his effect is not once per turn, so you can use it multiple times per turn. He can also destroy itself from the scale by targeting one of your dark spell casters, granting them the effect to deal double damage for the rest of the turn, and at the same time activating his monster effect. Moving on to the best magician in the deck, we're playing triple copies of Harmonizing Magician. When this card is Pendulum summoned, you can special summon another magician from the deck, but keep in mind their effects are negated. This card allows you to go easily into Baron and protect your combos from getting rebooted. The only drawback with this card is the fact that you can Pendulum summon it from the hand and not from the extra deck, but you can easily get here back to hand with Dragon Magician effect. And for the Jack of all trades, we're playing triple copies of Wisdom Eye Magician. If this card is in your scale and you have another Pendulum Magician in the other scale, you can destroy this card and place another Pendulum Magician directly from the deck to the scale. This card is extremely versatile because it allows you to get any magician that you need, and it also destroys itself, meaning that you can trigger the effect of Astrograph Sorcerer from your hand. Moving on, we're also playing double copies of Purple Poison Magician. This card allows you to go second really well, since when this card gets destroyed, you can destroy one face-up card your opponent controls, and this effect is not once per turn, and can also boost another Pendulum Magician and destroy itself from the scale. We're also playing the single copy of Black Fang Magician because it's a dark monster and it allows us to get back a resource from the graveyard. Now for the last Pendulum Magician, we're playing double copies of Performable Celestial Magician. This card is amazing both as a scale and as a monster. If we control the synchro monster, our opponent cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn, and we get any Pendulum monster during the end phase. For the last Magician, we're playing double copies of Tuning Magician. Being a level 1 means that we can synchro summon into Savage, or we can special summon here with the effect of Hulky Fibrax and then link climb into Selene and Access Code after that. Or we can send here to the graveyard with the effect of Time Star Magician. Now moving on to the only non-magician card, we're playing a single copy of Artifact Scythe. We don't play any DP package in the deck, but we have several ways to trigger Scythe. Now moving on to the spells of the deck, we're playing a single copy of Star Pendulum Graph. This card protects your magicians from spell cards, and even if we hard open it, we can link away one of the magicians to trigger their effect. Now moving on to an amazing consistency card, we're playing triple copies of Duelist Alliance. We use this card to search our Pendulum Sorcerer or our Double Iris Magician, and even our Time Pendulum Graph and Star Pendulum Graph. Usually this card is an amazing Ash Blossom bait. Speaking of which, we're playing triple copies of Pendulum Call. This card is really great because it allows you to discard a card and then add up to 2 magicians from your deck. It also has a secondary effect that you have to be aware when it's sent to the graveyard to activate this effect. Until your opponent's end phase, your scales cannot be destroyed. Also, you cannot activate this card if you have activated the Pendulum Magicians in scale. Now moving on to the last consistency cards, we're playing a single copy of Abstract Goblin, one copy of Pot of Desires, one Called by the Grave and one Into the Void. Sadly, after the ban list, we have only one Pot of Desires, but this card is extremely powerful. Now if you have access to Pot of Prosperity, you can choose to play that instead. But personally, I don't like the card in the deck. And the last card in the main deck is one copy of Time Pendulum Graph. This is the power card of the deck because it allows you to destroy one card you control and one card your opponent controls, and at the same time, if you prevent one of your cards from being destroyed, you can send an another card your opponent controls to the graveyard, and this combos really well with Pendulum Call and Time Star Magician. Moving on to the extra deck, I'm playing a single copy of Artemis, so we can link away our Pendulum Magicians if we have Star and Pendulum Graph on the field, so we can search for any magician that we need. Moving on to the link 2s, we're playing a single copy of Artifact Dagda and one copy of Crystal Hulky Fibrex. Both of them are essential for the combo because Crystal can special summon a monster that can destroy the scythe and then synchro summon into a level 10, and you don't require to play any bricks in the main deck. Moving on, since we're playing a magician deck, we're also playing a single copy of Celine. Celine allows us to link Lime Bezel to Access Code and not decay our opponent. Speaking of which, I'm playing a single copy of Access Code Talker, one copy of Apollousa above the goddess. Apollousa is made if we go first so we can establish enough negates, and Access Code Talker is made when we go second so we can clear our opponent's board. Moving on to the Synchron lineup, we're playing a single copy of TT Wonder Magician that will special summon during our opponent's turn with the effect of Crystal Hulky Fibrex and then immediately synchro summon to a level 10. This way our opponent cannot use Imperm or Chalice to our scythe. Moving on to another powerful synchro monster that we're playing is one copy of Borrowed Savage Dragon. Harmonizing plus any other level 4 magician can easily make Savage and protect our combos from getting interrupted. Now the last synchro monster that we're playing is one copy of Baron the Flare. When we special summon Harmonizing, we also special summon a copy of Off Dragon so we can easily make Baron before our 5th summon. And moving on to the Xyz lineup, we're playing a single copy of Time Star Magician because it allows us to search any magician that we need and also send a magician directly to the graveyard. And it also pairs really well with Time Pendulum Graph. Now for the generic Xyz, we're playing a single copy of Tornado Dragon and one copy of Abyss Dweller. In some niche scenarios, Tornado Dragon can pop your own scythe, while Abyss Dweller is a total blowout, especially when you're playing against the Phantom Knight matchup. Moving on to the rest of the Xyz, we're playing a single copy of Bakuska and one copy of Castell. In some scenarios, Bakuska can be very beneficial going second because we can link Lime to Access Code and clear our problematic threats, while Castell is a card that no one is expecting and can bounce back problematic threats our opponent controls. And for the last card in the extra deck, we're playing a single copy of Divine Arsenal Double Zeus because it's a complete blowout, especially against the back row matchups. You just have to make sure you have enough follow-up in your hand before you use his effect, because otherwise getting rid of your own skills can be very problematic. Now let's move on to some test hands. This deck has no specific combos, so you have to adapt your strategy as you go, but the great thing is that despite the hand that you have multiple lines that you can take to achieve the desired result. Now for the first test hand, we have one copy of Wisdom Eye Magician, one copy of Tuning Magician, alongside one copy of Duelist Alliance and one Sorcerer, and another Wisdom Eye Magician. Now let's see what we can do with this hand. We're gonna start things off by activating one of the Wisdom Eye Magicians. Sadly with this hand we don't have access to any low scale, but we can fix that with the effect of Wisdom Eye Magician. Then we can proceed to activate the Duelist Alliance and search for a copy of Double Iris Magician. Then we can trigger the effect of Wisdom Eye Magician to destroy itself and then place a copy of Off Dragon on the scale instead. Now we can go ahead and Pendulum summon 3 monsters, the 2 copy of Wisdom Eye Magician and the copy of Performable Sorcerer. That is also going to trigger his effect on summon in order to destroy a card on the field and search for a performable card. In this instance, we're going to destroy the Double Iris Magician and going to trigger his effect after that. As you can see here, I have forgotten to add the Pendulum Graph with the effect of Double Iris, but I will add it later. We're going to overlay the 2 Wisdom Eye Magicians in order to special summon a copy of Time Star Magician and add the copy of Pendulum Graph that we forgot to search. Then we can detach one material from the Time Gazer Magician in order to search for a copy of Astrograph Sorcerer, and then we can finally normal summon the Joker and activate his effect in order to search for a copy of Celestial Magician. It doesn't really matter what we search, but we need the high scale. After that we can scale the Celestial Magician, then activate the effect of Off Dragon Magician to get the Double Iris back to our hand. At this point we have several options, but with 2 level 4s on the field we can overlay for a copy of Tornado Dragon. Alternatively, if our opponent doesn't play a deck that relies heavily on the extra deck, we can choose to go for a copy of Abyss Dweller instead. Now in order for this deck to have protection from Nibiru and many hand traps, you have to open a copy of Harmonizing Magician. After we special summon the copy of Tornado Dragon, we can use this effect to detach a material and then destroy the copy of Off Dragon that we have. This is going to trigger the effect of Astrograph Sorcerer that we have in the hand, and then that's going to special summon itself to the field and then activate his effect so we can get another copy of Off Dragon to the hand. So this way we can guarantee our follow-up. Now after that we can link away the Astrograph Sorcerer and the Time Gazer Magician to go for a copy of Artifact Dagda. And since Dagda effect activates when another card activates it on the field, all we have to do is to scale the Off Dragon Magician and then activate the effect of Dagda in order to set Scythe directly from the deck. This way, even if we don't have the Crystal Hulky Fibrex on the field, we can activate the effect of Scythe by destroying it with the effect of Tornado Dragon. But thankfully we have access to a tuner, so we can easily go into Hulk. Now we can special summon the Tuning Magician from the hand and then activate her effect to give life points to our opponent and then burn us for the same amount. And now we can link away the Dagda and the Tuning Magician to go for a copy of Crystal Hulky Fibrex. This way this combo is getting only interrupted if your opponent opens Droplet. And during our opponent's turn we can trigger the effect of Hulk and special summon TG Wonder Magician and activate her effect effect to pop the Scythe. Then the effect of Scythe is going to activate on the field, and then we can activate the effect of TG Wonder Magician to quick synchro summon for a copy of Baron. This way we Scythe lock our opponent and have 3 interruptions during their turn: Pendulum Graph, Baron and Tornado Dragon. And that essentially is going to wrap up today's deck profile and test hunt. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Also, if you want to support the channel in any way, shape or form, you can find the links down in the description alongside the link to my Discord server. I'm really looking forward to playing with this deck more this format because no one is well prepared for this deck. Until next time, stay safe and I will see you all in the Shadow Realm.